Canada's foreign aid programming is under scrutiny, with some critics saying the government is using international aid as a way to boost domestic economic growth. To unpack this further, let's bring in John McKay, former Liberal MP and the driving force behind our current foreign aid framework, commonly referred to as the Better Aid Bill. John, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So, as mentioned, you were instrumental in creating the framework tying Canada's foreign aid to reducing global poverty. Tell us more about what is at the heart of the Better Aid Bill, and is the Carney government staying true to its mandate?
Well, the genesis of the bill was study after study after study, which showed that we just waste our money. Because every time a new minister or a new government came in, it was like flavor of the month, and we'd switch priorities. So the decision we made was that we would focus a bill on three things. One, poverty alleviation. Two, we would consult the recipients. And three, it would be consistent with international human rights standards. And that at the end of every fiscal year, 6 months after the end of every fiscal year, a report would be filed. The idea was to focus foreign aid on what you should be focusing foreign aid on, namely the alleviation of poverty. Various governments have come and gone since then, and currently the Prime Minister is focusing foreign aid on trade development, shall we say. And I understand the position of the Prime Minister. I understand the position of the government to develop new markets. I'm not sure this is the best way to go about it, but nevertheless, that's the position the government is taking currently.
Well, John, what are your biggest concerns with how the federal government's this current approach to foreign aid, and how that's playing out?
Well, what I'm concerned about is that the needs of really poor people in the rest around the world will just simply get lost in the focus on trade and diversifying sources of trade. Again, I understand the difficulties the Prime Minister finds himself in with Donald Trump. But having said that, I think we need to recognize that there are just needs in this world that cannot be addressed by simply a trade focus. I know that there have been some innovative ways in which the government has approached this, but still, if you're got two mandates, one of them is going to have to fall away.
Do you think the focus, though, needs to shift for at least the meantime? Because given our current geopolitical climate, of course, the unprecedented strain between Canada and our biggest trading partner, the U.S., I mean, the argument is that if we are providing money and funding to other countries during such a rocky economic time, if we're also able to boost our economic growth, isn't that a good thing? Two things can be done at the same time, and maybe it's just for the interim.
Yeah, the interim seems to last a long time, though, and I think that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. The Prime Minister is absolutely right that we have to diversify away from our dependence on the Americans, but it's also a core value of the Canadian psyche, if you will, Canadian citizens, that we do try to help others. However, imperfectly, we do try to help others. And I just point out that if you expect to be a middle power, which the Prime Minister said he does, you have to exert your influence in many different ways. The first, of course, is defense. And again, rightly, the emphasis on building up our much neglected defense infrastructure. The second is on diplomacy. And I would be concerned that our diplomats merely become trade consular representatives. And the third is on foreign aid. And again, if you have a mixed goal set, you're going to maybe achieve one, but you won't achieve the other. And so I tend to believe that relationships are developed best when the goals are much more focused.
So, John, if you could get into Carney's ear and tell him, this is the way you would like to see it go, how could the Carney government right now pivot then? What would you like to see be done in its approach to foreign aid?
Uh, I have this image of getting into the prime minister's ear that doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
I think a reread of the Better Aid bill and the material that supported it on the initial implementation. I don't think that uh, I was going to say minuscule, but less than significant amount of money that we put into foreign aid needs to be directed to trade. I think we can, as I say, walk and chew gum at the same time. I think there are needs, particularly now that the Americans have essentially withdrawn from foreign aid. There are needs that are around the world, and that there are opportunities there to develop relationships which maybe were never there in the first place. And if you are ultimately interested in trade diversification, foreign aid is in some respects an excellent way in which to enter into those relationships.
All right, well, John, it's a larger conversation. That's unfortunately all the time we have right now, but thank you so much for joining us and for your invaluable insights today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your interest. Take care.
Take care. That is former Liberal MP, Mr. John McKay.